guys, appreciate everyone in here. You know, Mike, Jason, Cards, Walker, Kish, great member on the channel. I'm going up quick. Jeff Passing, Yoshima, Michael, great members on the channel. Darren, great friend and member on the channel. Josh, Al, Ryan, Chris, Colin, all you guys, Watermelon, everybody that's chiming in just now, my 250 plus viewers. And love you too, MD. Appreciate the kind words. Yes, shout out all you guys. We got a slightly different fit because one, it's like a sauna in my room right now, and two, I want to put on something different in hopes that maybe it'll be a good luck charm. I don't know. I'm wearing the Max Scherzer black shirt. See, and I have the new Mets black hat I have just backwards right now because it feels more comfortable that way at the moment. But again, shout out all you guys. Really, really do appreciate. So I really don't think there's anything else that needs to be said besides this first thing is, yes, Chris Bryant is in fact a Colorado Rocky. Now, we saw endless rumblings between Chris Bryant and the Mets, but now we see here, the Rockies, but now we see here he signs a 7-year, $182 million deal, a full no trade clause. Absolutely nuts. Again, I would have loved KB on the Mets, but it didn't seem like it was going to happen unless it was a short-term deal based on what was reporting post lockout. And he goes to the Rockies now on a massive deal. Good for him. But I'm going to be left here wondering why that happened. You know, KB went for the bag. He already has done his, he already won the World Series before. No, he knows what it takes to win. What's up, Jason? Just don't spam in the chat, buddy. Yeah, so Bryant, I really want to know what everyone's reactions are to KB signing with the Rockies. Again, it seemed like it was a strong possibility, actually. And the fact that actually happened is just, I think, just so mind-boggling in itself for a different reason. You know what I mean? So, kind of nuts. I'm just happy he's not a Philadelphia Philly. You know, if he wasn't going to the Mets, I'm glad that he wasn't going to a team in the division, especially. And the other signing that happened, you know, just over the past half hour, heading into the live stream, was a bat that we've been talking about earlier today that looks like he would be a good fit for the Mets should they be able to land him. And that was Jacques Pearson. But no, Jacques Pearson, it goes to the San Francisco Giants on a bargain of a contract. What a deal this was for San Francisco. Congratulations to them. A 1-year, $6 million deal. Absolutely nuts. I know that he won't necessarily be playing every single day, but that just crazy, absolute craziness to see him land on that deal. Good for the Giants. I would imagine that because of that reason, because of the Giants, it looks like Michael Conforto would not be going to San Francisco. Where's Conforto going to land? I think he's going to be the hottest topic to discuss in tonight's live stream. Again, I know that a lot of you guys I've been wanting Michael back. I always have. I know you guys have too. But it doesn't look like that Michael will actually land with the Mets. Maybe at most it would be a short-term deal. I'm not getting my hopes up. But again, if the Mets are going to make anything more happen, which we will soon find out, I can't tell you for certain. I feel confident that the Mets are still going to make moves. But if they are going to still land a bat through the free agent market, again, talking specifically on the free agent market, Michael kind of leads the way for what the Mets are looking for, right? You know, a lefty bat that can split time with Canna, that can play at DH. He always has felt ideal, but again, that contract might be the reason as to why that won't actually happen. Same reason why I felt like the Mets were done with Conforto as soon as the season ended. We'll see exactly what is going to happen with Michael in his future. Maybe we'll find out results tonight. What I can say is that we really haven't seen much talk on Michael Conforto up to this point. So you'd imagine that the rumblings will start to intensify from here on out. But guys, again, everybody chiming in. Appreciate you all so much. Thank you all so much for chiming in and being here, guys. Really does mean a lot. I hope you guys enjoy the live stream. Like I said, help us get to 100 likes if we haven't hit already, as we have roughly 400 viewers already in the chat. So I do appreciate that a lot. Mets cards, please stop the spam. Please, please, please. Tony Watson and trade for Meadows. I would love Watson. Meadows would be awesome too. But again, Meadows is going to cost you a decent amount trade value-wise. I don't expect that to happen. But he definitely would be an awesome lefty bat in this lineup. I agree. And he's young and is controllable. But again, just not something I'm getting my hopes up. I will say that, look, this is Lewis. There's nothing to face. I feel that the Mets will still make more moves. And if they don't, then they don't. You know what I mean? No sweat off my back. I'm ecstatic either way for the season to start. I'm ready to go. But I don't believe the Mets are done yet. I just don't know what other moves they have in store. Should it be, right? Because look, it feels like, and this tends to happen in a lot of off seasons for us Mets fans, is the fact that whenever stuff happens, a large majority of the things that happen weren't initially expected or weren't initially what we presumed. We've seen this trend now for a bit. following it literally every step-by-step in videos and live streams endlessly on the channel, we've kind of garnered the idea of, what is expected and what is not expected, and they still manage to do things that are unexpected. So I genuinely do not know what is in store for the New York Mets. I would imagine that they still have, to a certain degree, interest in landing another reliever, as I would imagine that they still have an interest in potentially landing a bat. And I do believe that they're heavily evaluating the trade market. But again, just because you evaluate the trade market does not mean that you're guaranteed at all for something to actually transpire. So, that there's just a lot to get into. I'm really excited to break it all down. But yeah, there's just a lot to get into tonight. And I expect more moves to happen across the MLB. And if it doesn't, if you're watching some replay and you know that nothing happened during the live stream, then that is because I am the Wardy Jinx. Things tend to not happen when we're live. That's why, again, 3 live streams today. And all the significant stuff did not happen while I was actually in the live stream, like live as it was happening. So we'll see. But a lot to get into. I'm excited. Josh, thank you so much for the donation. Feels like we are counting on bounce back years. Well, we're counting on bounce back years for McNeil, which, again, that's not a surprise. That's Mets starting second baseman right now. That's a sure bounce back candidate, and rightfully so. And then you have Dom Smith, Robinson Cano at the DH. JD, I'm not really concerned much with him because, again, he's going to be coming off the bench. Dom and the likes of Dom, and Cano are the ones where you can definitely argue, yeah, more so because they both, I would imagine, are going to get a good amount of time as of now, more so at the DH position than anything else. But it's also important that, don't get me wrong, there are what ifs with them for sure, and they need to prove themselves, and naturally there's concern with that. So I agree with everyone on that. But every single Met, for the most part, had a down year last year. So naturally, regardless, the Mets are going to be banking on bounce back years to varying degrees. It just depends on the specific player and, their status and what transpired. But you're not completely wrong, Josh. I just think that it's not to the degree that I think a lot of Mets fans may initially have the thought of. Just because JD Davis, Dom Smith, these guys are in the lineup right now, doesn't really, the biggest concern with them, it hasn't been so much on the offensive side of things, but rather the defensive side of the ball. And that's something where hopefully we're not going to see them have much time, because the Mets, again, they have Marte, they got Canada, they got Escobar. Those guys are filling all those spots that naturally would be taken over every day by the likes of a Dom Smith in the outfield and a JD Davis on that infield. But again, appreciate the donation a lot. Thank you so much for that. Again, shout out everybody in the live stream, guys. Hope you all are doing well. Check Heyman. Okay, I will do that right now. Give me 1 second, everybody. And again, if you guys don't know the drill right now in the live streams, please make sure to let me know if news happens and I don't break it right away. If I don't see it right away, please let me know, and I will definitely make sure I address it. And again, thank you so much in advance. I just did an interview to work in Citi Field and I got it. Dream come true. That's fantastic. Everyone, get some massive hype in the chat here for, let's see, Omnibus Trooper HD. Thank you so much. Not thank you, I should say. Congratulations, right? I'm naturally saying thank you because from the donations and stuff. But seriously, congratulations. Hype in the chat. We got ourselves a Citi Field worker over here. I'm very, very happy. Very, very happy for you. Congratulations. And Sandy, thank you so much for the donation as well. Like, comment, subscribe, you hooligans. Love y'all. Oh, love you too, Sandy. Thank you so much for the dono. Listen in, Sandy. Speaking facts right there. And again, thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate that. Let me check Heyman real quick before we go further, everybody. So bear with me. How good would that Jays infield be with Jose Ramirez? It would be scary good. But at this moment, it doesn't seem especially likely to happen. Yep. Yeah, it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot for them to be able to land J-Ram. Do I think they have the assets for it? Yes, I do, but it's still going to take a lot. And again, thank you for the donation. Appreciate that. Let's see here. Can J-Ram play I mean, of course. Yeah, J-Ram. Second base is an easier position than third base. If you can play third, odds are you can handle second. And yes, Jacques Pearson did sign with the Giants. Yep. And again, if you guys are watching on replay too, then you know a lot that has transpired already. But I still can't wrap my head around Chris Bryant. I will say I appreciate KB. It was fun the last year and a half doing endless content about the man, talking about him because the Mets were linked to him for literally so long. Now I wish him all the best of luck in Colorado. No ill will with him. He got the bag as he should. Just so bizarre that the Rockies would do this. I mean, look, the Rockies paid over $50 million to get rid of Nolan Arenado. But because Chris Bryant can play the outfield, that's what justifies him while you go after him. Like, I just don't, it just doesn't add up for me, guys. I'm sorry. Like, man, I understand it from KB's side of things to get the best contract that was offered for him. Clearly, that was the case for the Rockies because I feel very confident saying that if he got that same contract offer from other clubs that were more of a contending team, why wouldn't he go there first, right? So, just very bizarre, very bizarre. That's my best way to wrap my head around it right now. And I will say that, again, it is nice that he didn't land with the Phillies. So now the big names to keep an eye on in the free agent market are the likes of Michael Conforto, Nick Castellanos, Trevor Story, Freddie Freeman, Carlos Correa. Those are really the big ones. And then, of course, anything that the trade market brings. But yeah, so a lot of the big names have fallen, but there's still big names at the tip of the top that we are waiting to find out exactly what their futures are going to hold. Let's get Story. I would love Story, but Story doesn't feel like a possibility unless, one, he takes a short-term deal, and two, he plays out of position, and three, the Mets trade Jeff McNeil. Could the Mets make Story work with McNeil still? It's possible, but like everything else, like I've been telling you guys, it's unlikely. I think it's pretty safe to say the Mets are not going to land anyone in the free agent market offensively outside of a sliver of hope that Michael Conforto is still in the works. Could I be wrong? Of course I can be wrong, and I would love to be wrong. But that just feels like what we're working with right now. So, outside of Michael Conforto offensively, Tommy Pham, potentially, even though that he's a righty bat and not a lefty, which the lefty is what the Mets could benefit more from right now. Corey Dickerson as well. So I'm backtracking a little bit. There's a couple guys that could be in the mix for the Mets still offensively, but no one that is to a level that is the bigger names outside of Michael Conforto. And Michael's fully expected to have a bounce back year. I would love Michael back on the Mets. I was a heavy advocate for him coming back on the Mets pre-lockout. If his market isn't what it was expected to be, and say he is in the market for at most a 3-year deal, then I say do it. But that's as far as it goes. Hold on, folks. I'm just checking reports real quick. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, just make sure I wasn't missing anything. My apologies, guys. Yes, I know Jacques went to the Giants. Very, very good pickup for the San Francisco Giants. Can't go wrong. I might just figure out, I don't know. Chafin's going to be those guys that we may never have an answer to as to why that didn't happen. And it's okay if we never find out. I would like to find out, but those things aren't always leaked. Let's see here. Thoughts on Corey Dickerson? I'm perfectly content with Corey Dickerson as a bench bat. It gives you that outfield depth. Has been a very, very, very good contact hitter throughout his career. Has some pop, nothing crazy. You're looking at similarities to Kevin Pillar in the sense of pop in his bat, maybe even less, because I know Pillar had a good amount of home runs last year. But Corey Dickerson is a very, very solid hitter. A very, very underrated hitter, too. That's just dealt with some injuries in his career. And that's one in hand with why you don't hear him talked about as much. Again, was with the Marlins last season and then got traded for Joe Panic, the former New York Met, in a trade that sent him to the Blue Jays. And he was solid for them. Thoughts on Matt Chapman trade? I love that trade for both sides looking back. I love it more evenly than I initially did. Very, very happy of that trade for the Blue Jays more than anyone. That was a very, very good move for them. Under the radar, left-hand relief pitcher trade options. Under the radar, I'd have to do a little bit more homework, which we can do in the live stream. I would say Brent Suter is definitely an under the radar type because of the fact that when you think of the Brewers, you think of Josh Hader. Most people aren't thinking of Brent Suter. So that's why I've been talking about him a lot, especially because you can get him at a cheaper price and is something that could be a win-win situation again with Milwaukee. So are we done with free agency offensively? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I do not know. I wish I had an answer. There's a possibility that the Mets may be done offensively in the free agent market. There's a possibility they aren't done. You know, it's a continued wait and see. I mean, look, we're finding out more and more about, you know, guys that maybe would have been a nice fit for the Mets, and then we see where they're falling. The latest one, again, was Jacques Pearson, who I knew wasn't going back to the Braves after they signed Eddie Rosario and Alex Dickerson today. So the fact that Jacques is with San Fran now leaves me wondering what is the future of Michael Conforto. I think Conforto, praying to God he doesn't go to the Phillies. If he's not going to go to the Mets, I really do hope that he goes to the White Sox. So we'll see. We're like I said, we got a lot to discuss here regarding all these guys. Check Rosenthal. Okay, well. Well, had a sneeze. My apologies, guys. And Pat Metz, thank you so much for the dono. Rockies have no plan. Don't trade Story at the deadline and get nothing in return. They signed Bryant, but how are they building this team? Good for Bryant, but maybe a while before he sees the postseason again. Beautifully said, Pat Metz. I really couldn't. I don't really think there's anything to add to that yet, to be quite honest with you. You hit the nail on the head, and I really do agree with you. And again, thank you for the donation. Hype in the chat for Pat Metz for the dono as always. Thank you for the blessings too, guys. Yes, I'm a Steelers fan. Yes, I know we got Miles Jack. I am happy about that. That was a very good pickup for them. Tommy Pham, has he signed yet? No, he has not. Tommy Pham has not signed anywhere yet. All right, folks, I'm going to be looking at Ken Rosenthal's tweet now. Nothing new from Rosenthal. Just about Brandon Crawford texting Jacques Pearson yesterday and asked if he knew he'd sign. Knew where he'd sign. And then Jacques replied, maybe Japan at this point. One day and $1 $6 million contract later, the Bay Area native will be teammates in San Francisco. That's fine. Let's see. Get my jean jacket back on now. It's a sauna in my room. I'm wearing the Max Scherzer black shirt instead. Maybe that'll bring us some good luck. Who knows? Tommy Pham would be a great pickup. Would be an awesome pickup for the bench. My only concern with Tommy Pham is one, his lack of power, because the Mets outfield the problem is not right-handed batters and guys that get on base plenty. Mets have that. The problem for the biggest hole the Mets still have, you can argue, is a power lefty bat. They have potential of Dom Smith and Cano adopting those roles, but those are things that they will have to earn. And naturally, when you're in a win now season, you would hope that obviously they can make something like that happen. But again, it's difficult. I don't blame them for not landing Schwarber. That's a massive deal. Like the 4 years is like, no, too much, way too much. 20 mil per, nah. Enjoy him, Philly. He'll kick our butt when he plays us, but you know it's not going to be anything that I think I'm going to lose sleep over. So the biggest thing for the Mets is really they would ideally like more power in this lineup. It's a very good lineup as it is already, but you can definitely make the argument that more power can be utilized. And Freddie Freeman would be fantastic too, but we all know Freddie ain't coming here. Let's see. Did the Red Sox offer Freddie Freeman anything yet? I have no clue. There has been no further updates on if the Red Sox have made a contract offer to Freddie to this point. We may find out tonight. We'll see what Freddie's future is. I will say that would be the most Steve Cohen thing. The most Steve Cohen thing to say F you and bring in Freddie. And it would be the biggest bitch slap, quite frankly, pardon my French, to the Braves as well. To let that man walk and for him to come to Queens. Again, not going to happen. But just the thought is still absurd. Just crazy. Does the no trade clause mean that Bryant can deny any trade? The Rockies? Yeah. Yeah. He has a full no trade. So unless he approves a deal, he ain't going anywhere. Did I hear the Orioles offer Correa a contract? I did hear about that. Yeah. I did hear about that. He hasn't done anything like that yet? Who's he? Yoshima, thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate that. If Freddie becomes a Met, you would have to believe it's because of Jake. Yeah, 100%. 100%. It would definitely be because of Jake and the money. It would be because of the money and Jake. Those are the two reasons. Jacob deGrom again, best friends with Freddie Freeman, but again, that pipe dream not going to happen. Yeah, no, you're right though. Brady, thank you so much for the donation as well. Hype in the chat for Brady. And guys, help us get a 300 likes for the next short-term goal to my 600 plus viewers. Let's get there, guys, and get subscribe as well. We're only, what, 700 subs, not even, less than 700 subs away on the channel to 15K already. So help us get a 15K. That really mean a lot, guys. Again, thank you so much in advance as always. This will be a prolonged live stream tonight, so buckle up. Even if nothing happens, we are staying put in here probably until midnight, unless it becomes really too much of a drag. But that is the goal for now. Hey, Rory, keep it up. So you won't be a jinx anymore. Yeah, I know. Hopefully, I won't be a jinx anymore. Appreciate the donation, though. Jorge Soler would be awesome power bat, but he's not the lefty power bat that you would ideally be looking for, right? So I don't expect Soler at all. Kangro, thank you so much for the 99-cent dono. Appreciate that. Hype in the chat for Kangro. Who else is in free agency, Wardy? Guys that matter. Again, Freddie, Michael Conforto, Carlos Correa, Trevor Story. Oh, shoot. I forgot to put Jacques Pearson off the list of potentially connected. I'll take him off at some point here in the live stream. So I'll do that in a little bit. Tommy Pham, Corey Dickerson. There's still big pieces out there for sure. But it's definitely, a lot has happened today. A lot of moves have happened today. Nick Castellanos as well. Plenty moves have happened. Feel something big coming? I have a feeling that something is going to happen. I just don't know what. I really don't know what. I don't have this overwhelming sense that it'll be something big, to be quite honest with you. And I don't have an overwhelming sense that's going to be just something, mediocre either. I genuinely don't know. And I've been saying this for a couple days now. It's not a good and it's not a bad thing. Well, no reason why it shouldn't happen if Steve wants to win it. He has $20 billion in dollars, would do it. So do a big signing and make yourselves favorites instantly. You definitely make your. If the Mets landed Freddie Freeman, they definitely make themselves as strong favorites as ever in the division. I agree with you wholeheartedly there. Someone asked Martino if Mets would be going after a bat, and he responded bench/fourth outfielder. Yes, I'm aware of that. I saw that. In his article yesterday. And that's ideally what we should expect if the Mets are still going to add more. That's what we should expect, in my opinion. I don't think we should expect anything drastic. The hope is that something crazy would still happen, but that's not an expectation we should have because that is unrealistic right now. I have mentioned Donovan Solano to the Reds. We talked about that in our live stream earlier today. Our second live stream of the day, because this is live stream number 3. What are the odds of Conforto coming back? I would say like 25%. Eric, thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate that. I'm not a Mets fan, but I admire how much you love baseball and the Mets. Let's hope for a Dodgers, Mets, NLCS. Eric, appreciate the donation. I hope for that too. I'm assuming you're a Dodgers fan. That's a very realistic possibility too. Will not be outlandish to stand by that at all. So thank you so much for the donation, especially as a Dodgers fan or whoever you're a fan of. That means a lot. So thank you. Dave, we'll wait and see, Dave. We'll wait and see. John Heyman just tweeted the following. Let me read off to you guys. The 5 huge stars left on the market, Correa, Freeman, Story, Castellanos, and Conforto, all have the qualifying offer attached. It may be a coincidence, as these players are so good, they're unlikely to be affected by it. In any case, it's a plus to union negotiate the qualifying offer out. TJ, thank you so much for the donation. Do you think the issue with Freddie is strictly money, years, or is there maybe significant concern about age and abilities? I think the main thing with Freddie is really just on what he's asking, like his demand and personal preference on location. I don't look. If the NL, for example, when talking about the Dodgers especially, if the NL did not have a universal DH, there's so much more reasons to justify not wanting to go after Freddie Freeman if you already have a solid, strong first baseman. But with a universal DH in place, it's hard to think that Freddie Freeman and his contract won't age well. Freddie has all the potential to age and just continue to be a fantastic player for quite literally the rest of his career. Even if he's not playing at first for the remainder of his career, if he's slotting in the DH, that just changes everything. So it is a bizarre situation in that sense. I agree. I think it is more so on strictly the teams interested in him right now. There's been bidding wars going on and all that stuff. So it's hard to weigh. But again, it's a huge decision for him because this is his big payday. You know what I mean? Just won the World Series. Now it's time to get paid, and this will be his one and only big payday. I would like to make that clear too. He's more than likely not going to get a contract after this. If he does, it's not going to be nearly to the same degree. So yeah, that's my take. And again, I appreciate that donation. Would I go after Watson in free agency or try to trade for Taylor Rogers to address our lefty reliever? I mean, the more realistic route is definitely Watson because you don't have to give up anything for him. I'm more than content if the Mets land if they go ahead and land Tony Watson. He's a very solid and very underrated reliever. Him and Shreve together, I'm feeling good with the lefties in the pen. Feeling very good with the lefties in the pen between those two versus what we previously had, which was none. But Taylor Rogers is undoubtedly the cream of the crop between those two. Like, he is at the top of the list. Outside of Josh Hader, Taylor Rogers is one of the best lefties in all of baseball. So I would love him, but again, how willing are the Twins to part with someone like him? And what's the asking price? How much more is it than, say, potentially JD Davis, for example? Do the Mets even want to commit to parting ways with JD Davis and others for quality relievers? Is that something that they have interest in or not? Like, we sit here and speculate and discuss these things every single day in and day out. You guys know that, but we genuinely do not know what they have in store, what their favoritism is. I keep repeating myself, and I know I will continue to, but it's so much more up in the air than I think we initially expected it would